What's up, guys? It's Wolverine, That's Machine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage, and you're watching True Hill Heat. Who better? Nobody.
Alright, this is Dan House here, very nice, very evil. You are watching True Heel Heat. Probably should have had MJF do this, but here we are.
This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero, and if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Alright, hello, True Heel Heat. I'm the AEW World Champion MJF. Just in case you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or since you listen to this podcast poor, you're listening to True Heel Heat, and I apologize for that.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for our NJPW Windy City Riot 2024 review. Because we have a new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. History was made as Jon Moxley became a global Grand Slam champion, making history, becoming the first man to win the WWE, AEW, and IWGP World Heavyweight Champions. We're here to discuss that and the entire show from Chicago, Wintrust Arena. To do that and to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, I gotta have one of two people, preferably both, but Sonal is not feeling well today, so I am joined only by the MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling here on THH. He is Jay News. How are you doing?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your good brother Jay News, along with SP3, the best tag team in the business, talking about this New Japan stuff, and we got to get down to the nitty-gritty. At the end of the day, what happened on Friday night was historic. It really, really was. But for all intents and purposes, it was a very, very good show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed out, don't. Get on the board. Get on to NewJapanWorld.com. Watch the goddamn show and see it for yourself. Man, oh man, we got some things to talk about. SP3. Some things went down. Some titles changed hands.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Velvet Voice, man. Jeez Louise, that kid.
Our good brother, Walker Stewart, over here in Chicago. He had to miss out on being in Japan for Sakura Genesis, but my Lord, it was so great to hear Walker Stewart back on a big New Japan show. And overall, the commentary team of Walker Stewart, Chris Charlton, and Veda Scott, they made an exceptional three-man woman booth.
Yeah.
I think that not a lot of people are able to gel that well when it's a three-person booth, but they did very well together.
They did very well, man. I always forget that Veda does the US shows for NJPW. So it was nice to hear her there. Walker Stewart just being the new voice of New Japan Pro Wrestling on English commentary it's a must nowadays, brother. Regardless of the fact that he is a good brother of the channel. You know what I'm saying? He's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. And Mr. Charlton, man, dude, just adds so much to the commentary booth. Yeah. And he really, from what I saw via his tweets, he really enjoyed his time in Chicago. So props to him. So yeah, man, lots to talk about, brother. Lots to talk about.
A lot for us to talk about, and we want to talk about it with all of you. So sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you, so we'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you want to make sure your comment is highlighted on screen, if you got to take a thought, a hot take, or an opinion on the show that you want to have read out on screen, you can send a super chat donation. That is also important to what we do here, because all the contributions go back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And Jay News been doing a lot of recordings as of late. So show some love to Jay News with a super chat donation. I always see the comments of people who be like, oh, Jay News is back. They happy to see you. So show some love in that way. And of course, the simplest way you can help out the channel is drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And we got in the chat with us today, we got Simeon, who says, I completely get why some Western NJPW fans might feel like AEW is taking over their company, but Moxley winning the IWGP World title was great. I gotta say, I predicted Tetsuya Naito to win, just like you, but we definitely went over the fact that it was a very possible option for Moxley to win here, and that there was a lot of people online, especially Western fans, mainly, who were in support of this happening, and they wanted the big shock value of the big title change. And because this is such an historic event for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and what Moxley's win means to him and his career and the history making that it was, like, it definitely was worth it, in my opinion, regardless of my feelings of Naito needing a long title run to kind of establish himself. It's not going to happen. It's just like, that's the thing. It's like Dusty Rhodes. It's like Sting. It's like there's just certain top stars in history. It's all about the chase. Yeah. It's not ever about them holding the title for a long time. And Naito is that for New Japan Pro Wrestling in this generation.
I believe you're absolutely right, but there's also the caveat of I feel, this is my own personal opinion, it is time for Naito to take G1 off this year. That is my take. I think
if he wants to work the G1, that's fine. I think that he should take off from now until the G1.
Well, okay, that's fair. That's fair enough. That's fair as well. It's just it's too much mileage, man. You know, at the end of the day, the reality of the situation is, and if you haven't heard this before, you'll hear it from me now. Strong style is not your best friend. It's just not. The wear and tear that it does have on the body, regardless of the fact of how much less dates Japanese wrestlers in New Japan work than comparably to like a WWE. It's the style of wrestling that really bogs down the body. And we're seeing that obviously occur here with Naito, you know, before our very eyes. And it's tough to see. He still puts on decent matches, but there are certain rough spots during matches where it's like, okay, this he might need some time off here and things of that nature. So, you know, I think that Naito getting the roll call was the important part, right? At Wrestle Kingdom, he got that, and now props to Mox for taking on the New Japan schedule. Period. He'll be taking some he'll be taking some time off from AEW. He's going to streamline and be the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He will work his best to create these new to build up the younger guys, which I think is a great thing to do, especially with a wrestler who can still go at a top caliber level like Mox can in that main event scene. Yeah, he'll be on Dynamite. Yeah, Bobby's right. He'll be on Dynamite next week.
Yeah, he's on Dynamite this week. He's gonna do I think he's gonna do the Taco show. Then he'll be back for Resurgence, and then he'll probably appear on AEW again, and then he's gonna be for the what is it, Kinzoon or whatever, the Soul Tour, and then he'll do Dominion, which I think that's gonna be the Shota Umino match, because that's 5 years from him and Umino. First match when he was a young lion.
That's fair. That's a fair way to be.
We'll see if that's the end of the run, but we'll see how long it goes. But I'm very interested to see. We got Roll Me One Kenobi. Yes. Roll Me One Kenobi, which is one of my favorite names I've ever read up. He says Jack Perry at Windy City was amazing. He has Chicago in the palm of his hand. We're gonna talk about Jack Perry and his matchup with Shota Umino, because that was one of the matches I was looking forward to the most on this card before going in, and the reaction and the entrance that he made. It lived up to the hype, and before the bell rang. Before the bell rang, the energy, the atmosphere, I was like, all right, they got me. Yeah. They got me. I was like, damn, I might have to change my answer on if the footage was worth it. If they can pull off Jack Perry being an interesting established heel when he comes back to AEW, maybe the footage is worth it. I don't know. We'll see. We got Vala B, who says, let's face it, Naito is pretty cooked in 2024. He's still been delivering great matches. The Sonata match was great. At Wrestle Kingdom, the match against Tsuji was great. He did back-to-back great matches within 6 days with Tsuji and Moxley. Yeah, he's on his last legs, but at least let him go out. At least let him go out with his best reign. God damn it.
You know, it's just, yeah, man, you could just, to your point, excellent matches he's been putting on this year alone. It's just, you just see it, man. It's like he's not gonna be Randy the Ram out there. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you can just see the wear and tear, dude. You just see it. You can just see it.
This is true. Valabi also saying Naito was always a chase guy. Yeah, there's just certain guys, like I said, Sting, Dusty Rhodes, even Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the biggest stars of all time. He was better in the chase, and that's why they kept taking the title off of him or finding a way for the McMahons to screw him, because it was better for him to chase a heel champion, because that's where the money is at. We also got here Roll Me One Kenobi, who says the most physical match I ever watched was Julia versus Nakano. That's from that All-Star Grand Greendom, from last year that we reviewed on the channel. So go and check that out. That's a match that I gave 5 stars last year. We also got he says Moxley is a machine. Yeah, he is ridiculous because he is cashing in his AEW vacation to do the New Japan schedule.
This is what the business means to him. Do you guys understand what's going on here? This is what the business means to him. Like, I don't know anyone else who takes the business more seriously than Jon Moxley, man. That's legit. That is legit, man. And he's definitely overcome a lot in the last several years, and he's out there. He's the working man's champion, man. He just really, really is. He stays in tremendous shape. Jeez, Louise is in the best shape of his life right now.
Yeah.
And, shout out to previous shows, commentator Angel. He bled, brother. And I told you that he would. And it wasn't even, it was a joke, but it was real. You know what I'm saying? Because without it, Mox ain't Mox. So let's be real.
And without it, that man, I wouldn't be remembering that match. That's great as that was. It did add to the match.
Yeah, it did add to the match. But to be fair, the spot, there was too much time between the chair shot and him bleeding. The timing was
also
off.
true. Also true. It took a while. It's not instant blood. Even though we saw instant blood in the Mustafa Ali.
That was an accident. No,
I know that wasn't an accident because they went right to the finish after that. We got Volop in the chat with a very good question. He says also somewhat unrelated note. When are you doing the X-Men reviews? We are doing the X-Men reviews starting at 3:05 p.m. today. So when we're done over here, you got about an hour to do whatever you need to do, and then join us over on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment for our X-Men 97 episodes 4 and 5 review with myself, Josh, and Ness. We'll be breaking everything down. So join us for that. But let's get into Windy City Riot this past Friday, Chicago, Illinois, Wintrust Arena. I didn't get the attendance. Let me look up the what was the
They kept on saying anywhere between 6,000 and 7,000 during the event, like on commentary, but I'm not sure what the actual number was.
Yeah, I don't know if they updated that on their website as of yet. Usually, if you look at the results, they have the attendance. Yeah, they don't have the updated attendance. It's just it says 800. No. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Taiwan. Yeah, it actually has it. It's 6,028.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good turnout for Wintrust Arena there. But the show kicked off with the pre-show matches. First, you had Matt Vandergriff going one-on-one with Zane J. This kept on with the theme of the Strong Survivor matches, which was keeping it very short, showing a little bit of moves, and then Vandergriff wins. That's been the theme of all of these Strong Survivor matches. But Vandergriff showing us something different. Instead of his high-flying antics with the shooting star press, he hits a style clash to get the win here. I gave the match star and a half.
No, man, do you know what? For a 5-minute match, and this is like the second time I've watched Zane J work a match. It was solid, bro. To be quite honest, it was surprising to me his level of skill in the ring. And I've been down on the New Japan Academy, so it was surprising to me to see that level of skill within that 5-minute match. And Vandergriff's been doing his thing for now four New Japan Strong shows, so he's still the Strong Survivor. But I see some good things for Zane J in the future, man. So good. I thought it was a good showing for him. So just wanted to say that.
He did look good. We had Valavi in the chat who says, "Why do you do this to me, man? That's midnight." I'm sorry, man. We had to review New Japan. We got to review the New Japan show and then give everybody time. We can't do back to back. That's still 11 p.m. for you, even if we're done with this. So, but sorry, Valavi. We'll be earlier next week, next Sunday.
Maybe not.
Yeah, next Sunday.
Maybe not.
Next Sunday. No. I was like,
no,
I don't know. I don't know if I'll be reviewing TNA Rebellion next Sunday. So there you go. Maybe next Sunday.
We got Dynasty next Sunday, brother.
Yeah, I know. Dynasty is in the evening, but I'm not doing anything during the day where we will be reviewing X-Men 97. But the other pre-show matchup saw the women being highlighted as you had Stardom's Mina Shirakawa teaming up with Viva Van to verse ROH and AEW's Trish Adora, as well as UK women's standout, Rev Pro standout, Alex Windsor. I thought this was a really good matchup here on the pre-show. It went 7 minutes, 3 seconds. Alex Windsor picking up the victory here. I thought that this was for sure Mina's match to win. I felt like she was really kind of had the spotlight on her, and whenever she was in the match, it had a lot more energy to it. But I will say Alex Windsor is just really smooth and has a certain snap in the ring with her, and that's something that I see in like women like your Stephanie Vicares, which we're going to talk about with her matchup. But Alex Windsor very fluid in the ring. What did you think about this match here? I give it 2 3/4 stars.
So, as I mentioned to you off camera, I'll say it here on the show as well. I thought that all the ladies throughout the show killed it. Like I told you as well, I was very, very happy to see Alex Windsor back in the U.S. It's been 7 freaking years. So, she was always a UK, like there's 3 women in the UK that always stood out to me from like the early 2010s. It was Bea Priestley, it was Alex Windsor, and it was Jamie Hayter. Those 3 girls to me were like the top of their crop, and to see Alex Windsor back in the US and showing out was really, really cool. Trish Adora is still doing the damn thing. That young lady needs a lot more love, and they need more TV time with her over on AEW and on ROH. Viva Van showed me something this time around. Her pacing and her timing was better this time around when I saw her in the ring, so that was good. And by God, Mina Shirakawa. Man, let me tell you something about Mina Shirakawa, my man. Let me tell you something.
Star. She's got the it factor. Star written all over her.
Yes, big star. Big star, Amina. She's doing big things. We will be waiting for her at the UBS Arena for Forbidden Door. So that is all I have to say about that.
He's like, the dog's gonna come out in New York, Mina. He was like, I'm gonna protect you. He was like, I'll protect you at all costs.
Right.
But we got in the chat, Frantic World. I guess you're talking about Alex Windsor. Yes, he gets it. Well, his missus.
His missus, yes. The missus, yes. The missus.
His missus, as he refers to her. I refer to my girl as the missus as well, so I understand. We got Romy One Kenobi, who says, I hope AEW push Mino well. Yeah. It's a good sign that she's involved with Mariah May because of their connection from their stable Club Venus in Stardom. And she's mixing it up with Timeless Tony Storm. The fact that Azumi's in there with Timeless Tony Storm and making Timeless Tony Storm putting on those working boots. Boy, oh boy, I was like, I almost forgot Tony could deliver. And I love the fact she got the new offense where she works like she's a freaking giant Bernard and shit. So mixing it up with someone fast like Azumi was great. It was great.
Lord Ted's eye himself, baby.
You like that shout, right? We got Simeon who says Alex Windsor having a global breakout tour is so wholesome. Yeah, yes, it really is.
She works so hard. She's been through a lot in the last several years and stuff like that, but she's always been a great in-ring competitor and stuff like that. And I just bigger and better things for her at the end of the day. I want to see her on these mainline shows. She's going to be on, obviously she's going to be on Resurgence. We'll talk about that in a bit. And yeah.
We got in the chat, Frantic World, who says Azumi is my favorite Stardom wrestler. My favorite is Mina Shirakawa. Second is Mayu Iwatani. And then third is Azumi because she's just so talented.
I've heard through the grapevine somewhere through the likes of the sphere of some guy named Scott that Mayu Iwatani is the GOAT. I don't know. But
I hear this rumor from a Scott E. Wrestling reports that Mayu Iwatani is the GOAT.
Shouts to Scott.
Gotta shout out Scott. Gotta shout out Mayu Iwatani, of course. We got Safed who says Mina and Mariah May kiss was timeless. It's been living timeless in my head.
It's living in a lot of people's heads. You know what I'm saying? I guess we're all fans, men and women both, are here for it.
Of course. We got Romeo and Kenobi. He says, where's the respect for Starlight Kid? Come on. Starlight Kid always gets love here. Starlight Kid and Azumi is one of the iconic Stardom rivalries of the last couple of years. And the fact that these two women are in their 20s and
for sure
a decade left in the business or more. Like, they're so talented. Stardom has one of the best rosters in all of wrestling.
Yeah, Joshi wrestling is, I mean, it forever. For decades at this point, Joshi wrestling has been the barometer for women's wrestling. If people want to be realistic about it, right? But yeah, man, Starlight Kid, that a women's masked wrestler is always special to me.
Facts. That is true. And the fact that she has like both like in the ring with her style and her character, it's like part Rey Mysterio meets El Desperado.
With a little bit of Kamitachi.
yes. That too. That is true. I love me some Starlight Kid. But we got to talk about the main card now. First matchup, the opener saw a student versus teacher style matchup as you had Minoru Suzuki returning to New Japan Pro Wrestling for his first match in 2024 to face his former protege Ren Narita of the House of Torture. What I could describe this matchup is Minoru Suzuki beat the ass of his child until his child decided to cheat. That's basically how you can describe the matchup. It went 7 minutes and 43 seconds. Minoru Suzuki beat him up at ringside, beat him up in the ring, had him in a choke at one point, got to the ropes on that one, Narita. Then he grabbed a steel chair, and Narita basically grabbed the push-up bar as Suzuki was fighting with the referee over the steel chair. As the referee takes away the steel chair, Narita hits him in the face with the push-up bar. Bella Buster, 1, 2, 3.
Jesus Christ.
Ren Narita picks up the victory. I know it's the double cross. I know it's called the double cross.
Can we get that young man another finisher, please? My God, man. He's a techer. Why is he using a freaking Bella Buster? Anyways.
It's so funny to call it that. It's just I would never forgive Scott for putting that in my head.
Oh man. Big man dogs. That is a joke. He is not the new King of Strong Style. I'll be damned if I ever call him that. I'll be damned if I ever call him that. But
he's the new age wrestler.
He's the new age wrestler. We'll leave it there. But I'll say this about the match. It was an interesting night for Ren Narita, to say the least. For him to get the one up on Suzuki at the beginning of the night. And then for him to finish the night the way that he did.
I did not think of him at all. I did not think this was foreshadowing, but it usually is. That's what's so great about New Japan is that they hit you with the same tropes, but you don't even see it coming. Yeah. But they have done this trope so many times of a random singles match, open up the show, guy wins to set him up for a title match.
Yeah. Oh man.
But the match itself, I gave it 2.25 stars.
Fair.
We got RPGs that says Suzuki dealing with the X Factor. We got Vala B says literally what I predicted. Push-up bar, Bella Buster, 1, 2, 3. Yep.
Oh man.
That's pretty much the Narita.
Pretty much how it went down.
Pretty much a Narita finish. Romy One Kenobi says AEW have a big star on their hands with Takeshita. 100%. 100%. Takeshita, he made a big impact on Collision. I was like, how we dropping Bryan Danielson on the ramp like that? Like, what we do on his head? Like brainbuster on the head? I know Bryan this year last full year, but damn.
He's going all out, bro. He's going all out. He's having a blast. Him facing off against Blue Panther last week at CMLL was fantastic for him.
Yo, that was a great match, too.
Great match.
Not a lot of people talked about it because it was WrestleMania week, but I gave that 4.5 stars. That was like one of my top matches from last week.
It was interesting to see Bryan in Mexico. Like, legit interesting.
The only thing that hurt it is that, once again, I was very confused on the rules. Oh. I understood that it was a submission match, but the guys in the matchup didn't understand that it was a submission matchup, I guess.
Oh man, you know,
are they not told the stipulation? Because that's back-to-back match. This is 2 weeks in a row. I watched the main event for CMLL, and I was very confused on what was going on because the multi-man matchup had Moxley pin Ultimo Guerrero, but it was a captain's fall matchup. Why is the captain Matt Sydal when he has Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, and Claudio Castagnoli on his team? Okay. But he takes the next fall, and that's how the team CMLL got the victory there. But this matchup, it was like 2 or 3 times that Blue Panther and then Bryan twice went for a cover. And I'm like, is it not a submission match? Because that's what it seems like he's telling them. He's like, I think that's what this means, right? Tell him submission.
Exactly. You know, wrestling is a universal language at the end of the day. Yeah. And we experienced that last night, as a matter of fact. So, or should I say in Chicago? So we'll get to it.
Absolutely. We got King Potato. He says Moxley is the fucking champion. Let's go. He's hyped. We got Arjeet. I hope I'm saying that right, or you can give me the pronunciation. I'll highlight it. He says Mayu is one of the best wrestlers of all time. Doesn't matter, men or women. Hey, respect Mayu.
Yeah, ain't got no fluff from me. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey man, she still had one of the best. I think the best women's match I've seen this year. If you haven't seen it with Shuri.
For our viewers or commentators that are from either Japan or get more access to New Japan than we do, or the Japanese women's Joshi wrestling than we do, is her documentary out as of yet, or are they still filming that?
Yeah, someone can tell us that, update us that in the chat if they have released the documentary yet, because that's what I heard, that it was being released this year. I know they were filming it last year, but I think it's being released this year. Romy One Kenobi says, "Mad respect to you guys. Every day is a good day when we talk some Japan wrestling." Indeed, I agree. That got me up today. I wasn't feeling well, so it got me up to talk about some New Japan Pro Wrestling. We got Big Man Dogs, who says most CMLL matches are 2 out of 3 falls since they're old school like that. Okay, that's understandable. But the multi-man matchup that I watched was not 2 out of 3 falls. It was captain's fall, which makes no sense to make Matt Sydal your captain. I'm sorry. I will stand on that. I will stand 10 toes down. Why did they make Matt Sydal, or CMLL make Matt Sydal their captain? And then the matchup with Brian and Panther, it was a submission match. Yeah. Brian applied a submission and he got the win. It was 1 fall. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Simeon. There we go. Simeon says, Mayu's movie is out in May.
Okay.
Bala B says, it's not a documentary. It's a biopic, and it's not out yet last I checked. So in May, it's going to be dropping. So, okay.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know if it's one or the other, or maybe both, because I know cameras following her around.
Who's playing young Mayu?
Yeah, for real.
I want to know. Is Mayu playing herself in her movie? That'd be cool too. NJPW Strong Women's Championship up for grabs. We talked about the IWGP Women's Champion. Now we talk about the other women's title in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was Stephanie Vaquer making her first defense against Azumi, and my oh my, these two women's styles just mesh so well in this matchup. Yeah, Azumi, she launches into a quick sequence early, but Vaquer responds with a well-timed reversal, kicking a deliberate stint of offense. Just her kicks, her headbutts, her dragon screws are nasty. Yeah. Like, Vaquer just has a certain viciousness to it. The best I can compare it to is 2015 Sasha Banks. Like 2015 Boss NXT Sasha Banks. That's what Vaquer has in the ring, and it's great that the first time that I discovered her and said that she was a star was against Mercedes Moné. Kick on the apron allowed Azumi to regain some footing. She landed a drop kick before beginning to work the arm. Azumi tried for a double stomp, but missed, allowing Vaquer to land a backdrop for a reset. After a short back and forth, Vaquer locked in a hole, forcing Azumi into the ropes. Vaquer then climbed to the top rope, where Azumi reversed momentum with a big superplex. This left Azumi free to land a double stomp from the top rope, where she launched herself like halfway across the ring. And it was like full on like a drop kick to the ribs. That's what Azumi does. It didn't take long for momentum to swing back in Vaquer's favor. Azumi tried to rally again, but Vaquer hits her Tijuana bomb backbreaker, which is like the Thunder Rosa Tijuana bomb, but she gets it into a backbreaker where really her knee hits the back of the neck and gets the victory in this one. I thought this was a great match. I gave it 4 stars. These two women meshed really well. And then in the post-match, Stephanie Vaquer's next challenger stepped up, and it was none other than Alex Windsor. So we get Windsor versus Vaquer at Resurgence for the NJPW Strong Women's Championship. What did you think?
Yet again, man, I stated all the ladies on the show killed it. Stephanie Vaquer, man, I don't know how many more times I'm supposed to say like great things about her, because she's just excellent at the end of the day. But to speak more about Azumi, when we talk about high speed, right? When we say, oh, this wrestler's fast, that wrestler's fast. Nah, this girl's on 100 all the time. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't slow down for anybody. It is dope to see her be so smooth and flawless at that speed, which is not easy to do, because people easily get sloppy when they go faster. She's crisp. She is unique. Love to see her. Love to watch her work. It is. I'll say this here live. I will get my Stardom subscription going sooner rather than later. I need it, man. I need it at the end of the day, because shit, man, I've been missing out on a lot. I always catch just clips or like the YouTube channel stuff or whatever. So Need to watch more of these ladies, but Azumi did great. Stephanie Vaquer did great. Alex Windsor coming out post-match to lay down the challenge. I assume that match is going to be super physical and hard-hitting. So if you see women beating the shit out of each other, come resurgence, it'll be during that match. But Stephanie Vaquer, Azumi, they're stars, man, and they just need more light on them at the end of the day. And I think that between what New Japan and AEW is doing for their women's division now, trying to reestablish them and bring them up, it's a lot of positive stuff is going on in women's wrestling across the globe. So I just wanted to take the time out to say that the match was great. 4.25 stars for me, just because it was short, but it was sweet and it told the story it needed to tell. And Azumi's down, but she's not out. So we'll see more of her come New Japan Strong shows, I believe. So yeah.
We got Big Man Dogs who says, I think she is a babyface, right? But her moves are so nasty that it's hard not to boo. I haven't been watching the Strong shows in full. Stephanie Vaquer has been positioned as more of a heel, especially in like Stardom, where she's been doing tag team matches with Oedo Tai, which is really their top heel faction over there, has been for the last couple of years, or since the inception, really, of Stardom over there with Oedo Tai. So if she's teaming up with them over there, she's facing mostly baby faces like Azumi in the US, then I think she's a heel. At least in the US. I don't know about CMLL.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, it's hard to tell sometimes with CMLL and whatnot, because you get depending on what part of Mexico they're in, you get a lot of boos, and then another state of Mexico, you get a lot of cheers. So a lot of the time, depending as to who the character is, they're either by majority tweeters or there'll be the rudos or the technicals at the end of the day. But to say something about Stephanie Vaquer, her headbutt snap is unreal. I was like, is she? And I saw the hands, like she was doing it, but it was like, damn, that shit look wicked. So, Big Bad Dogs, you ain't wrong, dog. Like those moves, that snap. There's yeah. Give me her versus Big Daddy Stat sometime down the line on AEW.
Yeah, I'm like, I really want to see this rematch of Vaquer versus Monet at Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
If she's still the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, make it happen, Tony. Tony champion, TBS champion versus Strong champion.
Imagine if Stephanie Vaquer steps into a freaking ring with Mercedes Moné and she beats her and she becomes the champ of everything. Yeah, we need a female version of Ultimo Dragon. That's what we need. Hell yeah, give me that.
NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships was up for grabs. Next, we had a special GOD Open Challenge 4-way, as it was the GOD Gorillas of Destiny, El Phantasmo, and Hikuleo defending against TMDK, Mikey Nichols, and Shane Hayes, against the West Coast Wrecking Crew of Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs, and Filthy Tom Lawler and his former enemy turned tag team partner, Fred Rosser. I like the story of the matchup with Lawler and Rosser, who has been like this new tag team in 2024. They've teamed up in New Japan Strong. They've teamed up in Ring of Honor. Them coming together, taking this opportunity to get a shot at the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships, directly conflicting with Team Filthy members, the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaac, and their story was kind of at the crust of this matchup. Not much to write home as far as like the in-ring stuff. There was some fun action, some fun sequences, but it really came down to the finish where it looked like ELP and Hikuleo were dominating. We get the sudden death. We get the godsend chokeslam. We get the combination, their finisher, but as they were going up for the top rope for the Thunder Kiss 97, we get a tag in from Shane Hayes. He gets rid of El Phantasmo when he hits the splash. They get rid of Hikuleo. He covers Jarrell Nelson. And finally, it took years, it feels, but Mikey Nichols, Shane Hayes, TMDK have finally won New Japan Gold, as they are the new NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions. Hey, it might not be the IWGP Tag Team titles that we wanted, but god damn it, at least it's something for these men because they deserve it. They've been holding down the tag team division for the last 2 years in New Japan Pro Wrestling in the US and Japan. Post-match, though, the West Coast Wrecking Crew attacked Rosser and Lawler. After dropping Lawler with a power driver, they held him down and cut his hair in the same fashion that Team Filthy did to Fred Rosser during the long rivalry between Lawler and Rosser. So nice foreshadowing or callback there. The post-match beatdown, honestly, was the most memorable thing of the matchup outside of TMDK.
Yeah, you know, let me say something, man.
I would give the match 3 stars.
Let me say something, man. Team Filthy. Vala B already alluded to it earlier. This was the best thing that could have happened. Team Filthy. That I probably could have ever imagined. The dissolution, the disbandment, the turning on one another. I said to myself when Jarrell Nelson took the scissors and he held the scissors and he had them on camera and the crowd was booing and things of that nature. I said to myself, oh man, where's JR Kratos? Is JR Kratos going to come out for the save? Is he going to save Tom Lawler? There was no save. Where was JR Kratos? There was no save.
He wasn't on this show.
Doesn't matter. They're supposed to be all the members of Team Filthy, and they turned on their illustrious leader, and it's over. Now it's over. Now it's going to be a feud versus Fred Rosser and Tom Lawler and the West Coast Wrecking Crew. Fine. No problem. Have at it. No more Team Filthy is what I'm trying to get at. And that, my friends, is a plus for the wrestling business. That's all I got to say about that. Big ups to TMDK for winning some gold. I hope that this turns into TMDK versus Bishamon eventually, and TMDK bringing home those IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team Championships.
And they made them eat the hair. Royce Isaac ate the hair freely, and then he made Fred Rosser eat.
Completely filthy, completely disgusting. It was just no.
It was bad. Big Man Dog says, I really like Tom Lawler and I like his and Rosser's dynamic, even though I don't have the full backstory. Basically, I mean, you used to watch New Japan Strong, so can you give him the backstory of the rivalry between Lawler and Rosser?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, it started out as friendly competition, and then it just started to get a little bit more personal. And due to the fact that Team Filthy was a faction, and Fred Rosser at the time wasn't necessarily part of a bigger faction. Team Filthy would then interrupt and do run-ins during Fred Rosser's matches, have him lose matches. Fred Rosser would get pissed off at Tom Lawler. They would go one-on-one. They had their squabble. They did their little comeuppance matches. They ended up respecting each other at the end of the day. But the rest of Team Filthy wasn't with the fact that Tom Lawler now respected Fred Rosser. That created a rift between Tom Lawler and the rest of Team Filthy, and now we are here where Team Filthy called it back to the day that they shaved Fred Rosser's hair off of his head. They cut Tom Lawler's hair, fed it to him, and beat the crap out of him. And they dismantled Team Filthy, and now it is all over. All that damn gyrating and entrance music crap is over. No more Team Filthy, no more.
Yeah, and to give a little bit more context, it was like a long chase for Fred Rosser, wasn't it? For the strong openweight championship. They faced in the finals to determine the first champion, and Lawler won. They had a previous matchup where most people thought Rosser was going to win, but he lost again. So Rosser finally to get another shot. I think he put his career on in line because this was after they already shaved his head and embarrassed him and stuff like that. Yeah, the whole reason why Fred Rosser is shaved is because of Team Filthy. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of backstory. So we gave a little bit of it for you, Big Man Dog, so you can like their dynamic even more, knowing their history.
Because remember, Fred Rosser used to have that king fro back in the day. That's tight. You know what I'm saying? And then when they shaved his hair, he just said, "Fuck it, let me just go bald and call it a day." You know?
And he's got that theme song. Yeah. But next up was the match everybody was looking forward to. J News, Shota Umino, 1-on-1 with the scapegoat, Jack Perry. Before the match could even begin, echoing chants of CM Punk throughout the Wintrust Arena. We see guards armored with body armor and shields and batons surrounded the ring ahead of Perry's entrance. Perry received mixed reaction, actually.
Yes,
not all boos. It wasn't like, I thought it was going to be like Dominic Mysterio on steroids with Chicago, but he comes out with the Chicago flag. He does a nice little entrance where he turns his back with the Chicago flag on his back. He drops the flag and he has a jacket that reads, "Cry me a river." Then he spits on the Chicago flag, walks over it, makes his way to the ring, and for the first time since seeing this man back in like 2018, 2019, PWG, stuff like that on the indies, and then it start in AEW, the first time I ever said Jack Perry felt like a star here. This was a star entrance. He absolutely made the most of this. And for the first time, I really, like I said, I gave him MVP of New Japan Cup because I felt like he got a lot out of that. But this was the first time where it felt like, oh, he's getting it now. He's feeding into the response that he knows he's going to get, and he's fully embracing being a heel.
He embraced it, right? By the end of the match, though, after the match was over and he was walking towards the back and whatnot, you could tell he was like emotionally exhausted.
Yes. Yes, and he started shaking hands because he was like, I know y'all fuck with me. Damn. All right. But talking about the match, Perry soaked up the crowd reaction at the start, and that really became the story of the matchup, was Jack Perry versus the Chicago fans. Once the actual action began, though, Umino established a lead in the ring, but Perry raked the eyes to gain control. He was playing some mind games throughout the early portion of the matchup. The crowd launched into a "you got choked out" and "no, he didn't" chant. You got choked out. No, he did. Prompting Jack Perry to do the same front face lock. I popped. I was like, okay, you already got 4 stars. I was like, you don't have to do anything else. You got 4 stars for embracing the chant and doing the front face lock. Umino fires back. He hits a DDT on the apron, that slingshot DDT that always looks vicious. He got some by the books offense before Perry reversed control. He had a nice hangman's DDT on the floor. Then in the ring, hit a tiger driver for a near fall. He got some strikes as Umino was very loopy at this point. Perry started spitting in Shooter's face, which launched into a yay boo strike exchange. Umino won that out with a huge drop kick. Umino launched into another rally, but he failed to hit the Death Rider as Perry landed a cool-looking Poison Rana, and then followed up with the unprettier, the Kill Switch Engage. Thanks, Father Christian. He then landed a glass jaw knee strike. I did not know that was the name. Glass jaw knee strike. After Umino kicks out, Perry then hits the knee in the corner, which got big boos. He's posing to the crowd, working some of the fans in the crowd, just talking shit. Then he lets Umino out of the corner. He gets his hands out, brings them together, and does the go to sleep symbol to huge boos. He gets Shooter up for the go to sleep. He's taunting the fans, but he's too distracted with his rivalry, with his match with the fans, and not too worried about Shota Umino, who reverses the GTS into a DDT. He then picks up Perry, hits the Death Rider. 1, 2, 3. Shota Umino defeats Jack Perry. After the match, like Jay Newt said, they shook hands, but Jack still flipped off the Chicago fans, making sure he got some heat before he went out the ring. This might have been my favorite Jack Perry singles match. I gave this 4.25 stars. This was an excellent grudge match with an electric atmosphere. And this is what I mean when a crowd adds so much to the matchup that it becomes another participant in the matchup. That was this right here.
I want to say that it was probably the first time in a long time, right? And Roman does this a lot, where he works the crowd and stuff like that during his matches and whatnot. But it's the first time in a long time in a non-WWE match where I said to myself, "Oh, this kid knows what he's doing." You know what I'm saying? So it was like, he knows what he's doing. First of all, to SP3's point, he was soaking up all the energy in the arena, negative and positive. And then he was just working the crowd as best as he could, me talking about Jack Perry. And it was awesome to see, because it felt like a light bulb went off in his head.
Yeah.
When everything was happening. And you rarely get to acknowledge and recognize those moments in wrestling matches, because stuff just goes by so quickly. But when he stood in that ring and he just started clamoring for all the negativity, it was like the light bulb went off. And I'm like, this is it. This is Jack Perry's transcendence. This is transition into stardom, because he's got to eat this for as long. He's got to ride this wave for as long as he can. Because the reality of the situation is, folks, this CM Punk all-in footage shit is only going to last but so much in the landscape of professional wrestling from a fandom standpoint. He's got to ride this wave for as long as he can, and then the major thing from a professional standpoint and a character standpoint for him is going to be when he has to pivot. So for now, let's enjoy what he's doing.
Well, right now he's got the character.
Yeah, exactly,
but the next move for him and his career is the return at Dynasty, where he helps the Young Bucks win the tag team.
That's going to be.
That's how you bring it all together, with the Bucks presenting the footage and reintroducing Jack Perry on an AEW screen. You have to now complete that by him joining up with the Elite, helping the Bucks win the titles, and then you have to. Then the next move after that is you have to find a singles title for him to win. If it's Copeland, or I've seen people even suggest that they think he's so much of a star after this match, they want to see Jack Perry versus Swerve Strickland at Double or Nothing.
Hold on.
They want Jack. I saw somebody suggest they want Jack to steal the AEW World Championship and spray paint an X over it.
Oh,
I was like, okay, you got me. You might have got me.
Oh man. We have a super chat here from West Indian Bacchanalia.
Let's go. Say it one more time for the people.
West Indian Bacchanalia.
Hey, thank you so much for the super chat donation. We always appreciate the support, guys. You don't understand how much it means to us here. He says, or she says, or West Indian says, was in the building for this. And from the second he came out with the Chicago flag, he was doing some great crowd work. Hope he can keep up the momentum. I definitely agree with you. He just like you said, he soaked up everything, and he made the most of everything he did in this matchup. Had a purpose and was about getting the most reaction from the fans, whether positive or negative. And I was so happy because I was in the crowd at All Out 2023 when the Bucks teamed with FTR to verse Bullet Club Gold, where we started the "Oh, Cry Me a River." So to hear it come back on this show, I was like, oh, I need to hear this in multiple places. You need the Cry Me a River t-shirts. Jack made me a merchandise draw. He sold out on his website this week after the footage. He's got the top selling item on New Japan's website with the Cry Me a River House of Torture t-shirts. Come on,
brother. At the end,
you gotta cash in. You gotta make this matter. This is good, getting attention,
right?
Whether positive or negative, mostly negative. But the way you cash in on it is Jack Perry is the one that benefits.
So to the point you just made, and I was thinking about this from the start of the video, the start of the stream, should I say? Everyone's been talking about how the whole what was the all-in backstage footage stuff, people didn't care. I don't think the point to show it was about people caring. I think this is the point. Jack's ascension is the point behind all this. And for all one, if TK's working the freaking IWC, this will be an all-timer at the end of the day, just to get this kid ahead. And I think, him being one of the pillars of AEW, wrong, right, or indifferent, whatever way you feel, this shit's working for right now. It's working right now, and he's got to continue to, like I said, he's got to continue to ride this wave. and turn it into TV gold for AEW wrestling television at the end of the day. To Big Bad Dog's point, Shooter did awesome here too as well.
Yeah.
He was upended by the end of the show for all intents and purposes, but he's got a big match coming sometime down the line in the not too distant future. That to move on to Shooter for a bit, if that does become the case, if Moxley eventually faces Shooter down the line, that's got to be a star-making moment for Shooter. It's got to be. Suji's not made, but Suj is in his spot. Suj is good for right now. They've got to do something with how they're working with Narita for the time being. Maybe this feud with Moxley might do that for him. I don't know. Wait and see. But when we eventually get to Moxley versus Shooter, that's got to be a star-making moment for him, because that's ultimately why Mox is the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion right now, is to make these young guys the stars that they need to become.
I honestly feel that if it's not it's not a program where he's gonna, if it's not a title reign where he's gonna like have a bunch of title defenses against the young talent, whether it be Narita, Shooter, Suji, even maybe a Uemura can jump in there, get a shot, maybe even like a Gabe Kidd. It's going to, and it ends with him putting the title back on Naito. Then I think this whole thing is to put over Shooter. I think that you do Shooter versus Moxley at Dominion. He comes close, but he loses, and Moxley retains. Then you do it. You have Moxley hold the title to Wrestle Kingdom, and Shooter wins the G1, and you do the rematch where Shooter finally wins at Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah. Because that's where I've been saying it for a year. I've been saying it before Okada and Ospreay got out of here. You gotta crown one of your three musketeers at Wrestle Kingdom next year. You can't do it this year. This year is about building them to that moment.
Yeah, for sure. They're even doing shit. They're even doing it with the Young Lions, man. What happened this morning for Oleg Bolton Oleg?
When never open weight 6-man tag.
He's never open weight 6-man tag champion, and he's still a young lion. That doesn't happen usually. So.
Yusuf in the chat mentioning that. Yeah, it's and it's with the president of the company. So you know, like that's a good sign for Bolton Oleg. And I mean, he has star written all over him. So
he's got look, man. I used to say my piece about how green he was when he first started, but he has definitely gotten better since. Big props to him. Shomakato and I forget what the other young man's name is that are the Young Lions now. They're doing good work. You know me, I'm still not a fan of Nakajima at the end of the day, but it is what it is, right?
Hey, at least he's in a tag team.
Yeah. Him and Oscar Loibe, and I think Loibe is going to be a star in the future at the end of the day. But you know, they got a good young crop as well as Young Lions right now, guys out on excursion and stuff like that. But the guys that came back, the guys that did their excursions and are back now, the Sujis of the world, the Uemuras of the world, like we said, we talked about Shooter. Brett, you know, we've been down on Ren Narita forever at this point. So, you know, they've got to do something to elevate these guys, and using Jon Moxley to do that, because the Japanese stars that are still at New Japan now are on the back end of their careers. And there's no, it's real to say, but it's unfortunate to say there's no real peak level of interest in those matches at this point in time. So, you know, in order for them to become stars, it's like what they did with Brock Lesnar back in the day, winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship during the Dark Era, right? Having him do that with the young up and coming Japanese stars at that time. That was the ascension of the Nakamura's and the Tanahashis of the world and all that stuff or whatever. So it's working the same way. This is not the first time New Japan's done this. So, you know, we'll see as to where this goes. But yeah, man, props to Jack. Hopefully he keeps on riding his wave. Props to Shooter. Hopefully this works to his benefit, which I'm sure it will. I don't think Mox is going to let this not work to his benefit.
No. I think that this is the whole reason that Mox is the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, is that he's going to be the guy that drops it to Shota Umino. That's what I really feel after this show. And then you got Simeon in the chat bringing up from the previous matchup. Hikaleo's New Japan Pro Wrestling deal is up in June, according to Fightful. And I'm sorry, New Japan. If I'm Hikuleo, I am gonna seriously listen
Sure.
to WWE after this past Friday with Tama Tonga's debut. Because
Listen.
I'm sorry, all the people that wanted Tama Tonga to reunite with the fucking Bullet Club, WWE can't do that right. Let him be in a group that they have gotten right, and this new bloodline with Tama and Solo and potentially Jacob Fatu.
Potentially.
And then you can add, well, it's pretty much seems like a foregone conclusion. He signed. He was backstage at WWE with the passes that says performer, unless he fucks it up. But I don't want to put that in the air.
My point being, I'm not sure if he's going to start out in NXT or be on main roster. That's my.
Oh
thing.
no.
Yeah.
The plan with signing him is a part of the bloodline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why him and no, I think it was just him. He put out the picture of the tag team. So I think it was it wasn't Samoa SWAT team. It was Tonga Kid and Haku under Bobby the Brain Heenan. Right. He posted that picture because him and Tama. Yeah. That's their dad. Like, and then you got Heyman as the fucking evolution of Heenan. So it makes sense.
It makes sense, but it seems that the great Paul Lee seems to be a little scared of Tama Tonga in this hostile takeover. But we will see. We will watch and see as to what transpires on SmackDown. But Hikuleo, you're right, SP3. He's got to listen to WWE at least, see what happens there.
He's probably one that I would start out on NXT. Jacob Fatu, you could put up in the main roster. I think he's gonna stand up.
Without question.
350-pound dude doing double jump moonsault. Yeah, I think he's gonna stand. I think he'll be fine. And he'll be working with who? Let me check notes. The Rock and Roman Reigns. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. Fine. Hikuleo, they'll probably say, oh, you need some time on NXT.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that for all intents and purposes, for all the New Japan talent that's gone over to the WWE in the last 5 to 7 years, including our good brothers, because they're still collecting checks and doing a whole hell of a lot of nothing. They have stuff there that they can do, right? Outside of the bloodline stuff, right? We still haven't had Tama run into Chad. We still haven't had Tama run into AJ. We haven't done any of that yet. So we'll see how it all goes. But props to Tama Tonga. Props to the Tongan part of the family for getting on TV. So that's I just wanted to make that point. There you go.
Getting that Tongan love. And yes, Safed, it was announced on Collision last night that FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team titles would be a ladder match. And I was like, yep, Cash Wheeler is going to be trying to climb that ladder, and then Jack Perry's going to push him over, and he's going to fall through some tables. Can't wait.
There it is. There it is.
Can't wait. Book the finish for you. You're welcome, Tony. I know you watch the channel. Next up, we had TNA X Division champion Mustafa Ali going one-on-one with Hiromu Takahashi. I was very weirded out by the first couple of minutes of this matchup because
nah, man, it was what are you talking about? It was the biggest debut in all of New Japan Strong history, bro. What are you talking about?
Daryl Jr. Daryl is jacked. Daryl's on steroids now. And Ali was enraged with the cat, prompting Hiromu to hit the ring again. This distraction was enough for Hiromu to take control early on. On the floor, they started chasing each other again. Ali took control, landing a DDT on the floor. Back in the ring, Ali found a bit of some offense. Instead of taking full control, though, Ali started taunting Daryl. He says, you got me sitting up here talking to a stuffed animal, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to you. You better be watching. Allowing Hiromu to reverse the momentum. Hiromu landed a dropkick that sent Ali crashing into the barricade. This led to a rally from Hiromu. We had an instant where Ali basically pushes Hiromu off the apron and then goes for a tope suicida. He hits the tope suicida, but he crashes head first into the damn barricade, busting himself open instantly. Back in the ring, he runs at Hiromu. He runs right into the turnbuckle, leaving a huge stain of blood that you see in the picture as seen here. And then But Hiromu, when he's fighting up top with Ali, Ali uses his own momentum to hit the sunset foot power bomb, followed by the 450 splash to pick up the victory here. Post-match, Ali shows respect to Hiromu, wanting to shake hands, but Hiromu insists on shaking hands with Daryl Jr., leading to Mustafa Ali doing the code of honor with a stuffed animal. I thought this was a good matchup here. 3.5 stars. I just felt like it could have been longer. Maybe the blood in the barricade spot may have stopped this from going a little bit longer than it needed.
Yeah, I think the momentum of the match sort of halted once Ali recognized that he busted himself open. And it
felt like they went to the finish because they could have went 5 more minutes after that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think once Ali noticed that he was bleeding, they rushed to the finish or whatever the case is. They called the audible in the ring. So they did all that, and it could have been a better match. I think they'll have another match somewhere down the road, especially now for that. Hiromu was pointing at the X Division Championship during the post match. So we'll see how that goes. I want to say this: the usage of the extras during this particular event was top notch. The Riot Squad for Jack was dope. The Secret Service guys who are probably the same guys in the Riot gear.
Yes. I was like, these are all NJPW Academy students.
Exactly. Them being the Secret Service for Ali, because in Ali we trust.
We trust.
So it was cool to see. It's a cool thing to have, and be it so uniquely different, right? Because Riot Squad guys, the Riot gear are different than the Secret Service, right? So it's like, so that's a cool juxtaposition in that particular regard. But Ali's doing great work, bro. This is what he wanted to do in the WWE, and they didn't let him do it at the time. So him doing it on the Indies, quote unquote, or on TNA, I think it's working great. Huh?
It's cool to see.
Yeah, it's cool to see it. And I think it's working great, to be quite honest. I want to see one of his political promos end up on AEW TV. Just one day. Just to see how
I was really thinking about that. Like, how would they do? Like I would love to see the one match I want to see for Mustafa Ali now that he's out of WWE is him versus Pac. Yeah. Him versus Pac now outside of WWE kind of constraints. I think they would have a killer matchup. And that's the type of match I would love to see at like a Forbidden Door, where you can use someone like Ali, where Tony Khan could pay him directly, but you could still use the X Division Championship, and then you're adding TNA to the Forbidden Door, which makes this new Forbidden Door different than the past 2 years, because you have Stardom now, you got CMLL, and then you'll have TNA as well.
Exactly. So that would be pretty dope. I think Ali's one of the better talents in all of wrestling at the end of the day. Him doing character like the WWE guys who are in the indies, the Matt Cardonas of the world, the Alis of the world, they're killing it, man. So that's
I said this before the post-match promo, which if you haven't watched it, go out of your way to watch it. It's on NJPW World. It's also on their YouTube channel, as well as their social media. Mustafa Ali's post-match comments, a bloody Ali backstage talking about how people are not concerned with a genocide. They're more concerned with two guys fighting over broken glass. How New Japan Pro Wrestling is disrespecting him by having a tournament called the Best of the Super Juniors without the best Super Junior being there. I absolutely love the promo work Ali has been doing, but this was the best.
Yeah, he's on top of his game, man. And to Zavala B's point, I said it when I was watching Windy City Riot last night out loud, talking to my screen. I was like, he should take Yo's spot in the Best of Super Juniors. Like, there's just no way around it. So it's like, it makes the most sense at the end of the day. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Hopefully it does. So we'll see how it all breaks down. But yeah, man, Ali's doing great work. Hiromu's Hiromu. But to your point, SP, they're probably going to run this back, probably have a longer match, probably do some different things here and there, and probably work a more high speed pace as per Hiromu's type of match, because I want to see that happen. So yeah, but definitely a dope match to watch. Just kind of clunky at the end due to the blood and things of that nature. So,
but up next we had the Riot Rules matchup. Of course, Gabe Kidd chose Bullet Club through and through, as he chose the Bullet Club War Dogs, David Finlay and Clark Connors, as well as Bullet Club, I guess, neutral, Kenta.
Lil K, baby. Lil K, baby. He was in the building. Lil K was in the building.
To face Eddie Kingston's team, which, surprise, was United Empires.
Yes,
TJP and Jeff Cobb, but it made so much sense with their rivalry with the Bullet Club War Dogs. And of course, we predicted this one, right? Homicide being the fourth member of the team. And this was a straight up fight and brawl most of the matchup. They started brawling in the end, the aisleway. It didn't take long for weapons to become involved. There was a barbed wire steel chair. There was a ring bell. The first player to find the ring was Connors and Kingston, but that didn't last long. We had Finlay and TJP going at it again. We had Homicide and Gabe Kidd with the ladder at another point. Gabe Kidd did the nice little Terry Funk spot with the ladder spin. TJP cuts off Connors with a face full of mist. Just when we thought we were going to get blood, we got red mist instead. Homicide started driving a fork into Connors' head until Kenta made the save. Kenta hit the go to sleep on TJP while Cobb prevented him from making the cover. Finlay hit the ring next, where he drove Cobb into a barbed wire steel chair. Kingston cleared Finlay from the ring with a kendo stick, leaving the ring cleared for the highlight confrontation of the matchup, which was Kidd and Kingston. They started going at it with a strong style exchange. Kingston wrapped his hand full of barbed wire for the Oregon until Bullet Club hit the ring. Bullet Club took down Kingston and made him watch as Gabe Kidd hit his power driver after a shillelagh strike and get the win 1-2-3 for the Bullet Club War Dogs to get the victory here. After the match, they beat down the baby faces some more before heading up their entranceway. Kingston was absolutely infuriated. He started initiating another brawl after the fight was almost over. Both teams continued to fight for a while. Once they were separated by officials and security, Kingston got on the mic and said that he was challenging Gabe Kidd for the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship at Resurgence on May 11th in California. No rope, last man standing matchup. And if you saw their matchup at Battle in the Valley, you are assured this will be violent. Both teams started fighting once again after the challenge from Kingston, but no rope, last man standing, Kidd and Kingston. That's going to be insane. This match, it was fine.
It was all right. It was all right. It did what it was supposed to do, is what this match did. For my own, from my own side, from my bias, I would love to have seen the no ropes last man standing match at Forbidden Door, but I understand. We have to have a level of violence at Resurgence, so we'll have it at Resurgence. We'll have it back in California, the biggest West Coast show of all time, as it was presented on Windy City Riot.
So yeah, the biggest show of all time with Windy City Riot, and the biggest West Coast show of all time with Resurgence. They're on a good streak. And Forbidden Door is going to be big.
These Gabe Kidd and Eddie Kingston New Japan promos are pretty out there, man. People talk about putting bullets in people's heads and all this other crazy shit.
I'm gonna kill you.
Exactly. So it's like, what do we do? I don't know how far this is gonna go.
Like their promo work is more akin to a rap beef than a wrestling rivalry.
Absolutely. In my head, I'm picturing that they will do their best to get a Hollywood prop of a gun, and there will be an armorer who knows what they're doing.
I don't think we want to pull any triggers here.
So it is what it is. At the end of the day, that's just me. So we'll get some extreme violence. at the resurgence.
I love Big Man Doug says, yes, I was shaken when Eddie said he would shoot again.
Because he means it, son. You know what I'm saying?
He does. He's from Yonkers. They mean that shit every time.
He means that shit. Oh my God, son. Ever since Eddie Kingston said on AEW TV that New Yorkers were born in the misery, I've been on the boat the entire time. Born in the misery. That's all it was for me, man. But yeah, I think that during the resurgence match, this no ropes last man standing match, there'll be callbacks to like FMW matches, some Onita spots. We're gonna see some extreme violence in this resurgence match. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
I am very much looking forward to that one, but pretty decent matchup here with the Riot Rules match. Next up was another title match, J News.
Yes.
NJPW World Television Championship up for grabs. Zack Sabre Jr. challenging the champion, Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle has successful defenses against other TMDK members like Bad Dude Tito, Kosei Fujita, and MLW. This was his first defense back, I believe, in New Japan Pro Wrestling since winning the title at New Beginning. The match opened up with a fierce scramble on the mat. The mat work in this match was top-notch from both guys. Riddle was outclassed on the mat, which forced him to use his strength to overwhelm ZSJ. Really, it became, if it got on the mat, ZSJ was in control. If it was standing up, Matt was in control. Riddle was just hitting ZSJ with those kicks. ZSJ tried to torture Riddle, attacking all his limbs. What he did, joint manipulation, but not on the fingers, on the exposed toes. That made me cringe so much. When he snapped the toes, I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I've never seen that. Why hasn't anyone ever done that against Matt Riddle? This played out multiple times with ZSJ, gaining a little more and more each and every time. Riddle eventually landed a big suplex to put Zack on his back foot, a power bomb and a knee strike that was vicious for a good near fall. ZSJ was sure to answer with a nice little jump and choke and bringing Riddle back to the mat. Riddle tried out of an armbar into a rampage bomb, but ZSJ reversed into a Zack driver for a near fall. ZSJ tried to follow up with a PK, but Riddle was able to reverse that into a half crab. We get Riddle escaping ZSJ, then taking him down, hitting a floating bro for a near fall. We get the 3-minute call, then we get some throwing of strikes, which Riddle gets the better of. He tries for a tombstone, but ZSJ rolls out of it into a Euro clutch for a very close near fall. Riddle tries for another near strike, but he misses. ZSJ responds by quickly reversing into a pinning combination, a crucifix pin. 1, 2, 3, just over 13 minutes. ZSJ is once again the NJPW Strong Television Champion, regaining the gold. Right after taking the loss, Riddle rolls out the ring, starts fist pumping fans, and walks the fuck out. That was very awkward, very weird, very reminiscent of Austin Aries at Bound for Glory 2018. If you don't know, look it up. But after the matchup, we get ZSJ addressing the crowd now that he's the new champion again. And it's none other than his main rival of his first run, Jeff Cobb, who comes out as the first challenger for the title. We don't know yet when they will face off, but Jeff Cobb, ZSJ have great chemistry together. That's sure to be a great matchup. So I have some conflicting points. One, to get it out the way, the match was fantastic.
Yep.
This was a technical wrestling clinic in the best way possible. I give it 4.25 stars. But there's some things that are off for me here. First of all, the Riddle walkout. I mean, that seemed like he was walking out the company. It was awkward. Like he was walking out of ring. He looked like he was gone. He's now gone.
It was awkward. When I was watching the match, I was like, "Oh shit, they're going for the graps. It's the graps versus the techers." That's what I in my head. That's what I thought, right? And as the match continued on, like you said, it was a great match, a good back and forth. Riddle had the upper hand. Zack had the upper hand. the joint manipulation stuff was great. It just proved to me still that Matt Riddle's a terrific in-ring performer.
Yeah.
Now, to get to some comments that were made in the chat, Emmanuel Molina says, why does Riddle insist on burning bridges? I, sir, cannot answer that question for you. I don't know the reason behind that. I'm not sure as to what the play is, what his relationship is with people in the back in New Japan, MLW, WWE, wherever he goes. I'm not sure.
He seems like he's in a good position with MLW. Like, he's their top star, but
I guess so.
But this was just weird. Did they have post-match comments?
So Simeon said, based on his post-match reaction, it seems like New Japan sacked Riddle or got rid of him or whatever the case is. So I didn't watch the post-match reaction from Riddle, so I don't necessarily know. So Simeon's dropping a little gem on me here. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I've always been a fan of his in-ring work. I always thought that the King of Bros was a cool character. At the end of the day, it's just his ability to communicate or how he relates to people seems to be a bit off. I'm gonna say it because I don't hear a lot of people saying it. But ever since Riddle started fucking with other drugs besides weed, everything's been off. Amen.
I'm gonna say it. No one wants to say it. Ever since he started fucking with the cocoa, ever since he started fucking with the white girl.
Shit. Don't say it like that.
Ever since. It's something been off. I used to be a huge Riddle fan, but all the out of ring discussion and controversy, it all started with him when we started hearing, oh, he's not just doing weed anymore.
Right. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But the big homie Will Chisholm, he dropped the super chat on us.
Indeed, he did. A super chism, if you will. Thank you so much, Will. We appreciate the support as always. He says, since Mox won the title, who y'all think will face him at Forbidden Door? Will it be a CMLL talent or an NJPW talent? I believe it will be an NJPW talent. For right now, right. I don't see anyone bigger than Naito to do the Naito rematch at Forbidden Door. I don't know if I don't think you're going to put the title back on Naito, but there's no bigger star in New Japan than Naito.
At the moment.
You could do Zach, because him and Zach have unfinished business from the match that was supposed to go down for the US title back in 2020. That never happened. They've already done Mox and Tanahashi at the first Forbidden Door, so I don't think they're running back that. Mox and Shingo would make more sense if Shingo had won at Battle in the Valley.
Right.
Then that would have set up Shingo to be the first challenger. And he's the new never open weight champion. So that would make a lot of sense. And then the option that just hit my head that probably is the most realistic, because I saw your face when I suggested Naito again. It might be too soon for that one. It's David Finlay. I know you don't like it, but doesn't that sound like the one that makes the most sense?
Probably. In Gato's head, in Tony's head, probably. I'm not going to negate that. I know what the truth is.
Then he can run a bunch of Blackpool Combat Club versus Bullet Club War Dog matches on Collision in the lead up. There we go. I'm good for that. I'm good for Gabe Kidd on AEW TV. If that happens, that's what
I am all for Gabe Kidd on AEW TV because he's a madman,
He's a madman.
He's a madman, Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But excellent question. Well, could it be CMLL talent? I doubt it. I don't
think they would put the IWGP title on an AEW talent and then have him face a CMLL talent.
It wouldn't make much sense in that particular regard. And it being an AEW talent to face him at Forbidden Door wouldn't make much sense either.
Yeah.
So
I see a CMLL talent versus someone like Ospreay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Whoever,
because you don't want to have him face any of the NJPW talent. It's too soon.
Yeah. That's true too. I mean, maybe Will versus Máscara Dorada 2.0. Maybe.
I would love Will versus Mystico. I know neither one of those guys should lose, or CMLL doesn't want Mystico to lose. He's the only one that doesn't lose in AEW is Mystico. Volador Jr. as well. That's another guy that could have a great match with.
That's true. Yeah. That's
CMLL.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple of guys. Mascarado Dorado 2.0 is really good as well. But I feel like you need a bigger name from CMLL than him. We got Big Man Does. He says, the road needs the rubber.
Oh man, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. I just don't want to see it. That's just me. I just don't want to see it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yo, they need to do it as a surprise. Like they need if they're gonna do David Finlay and Moxley as the Forbidden Door IWGP World Title matchup, I want to see Bullet Club War Dogs pop up on an AEW Dynamite or Collision out of nowhere. No advance announcement. They just pop up and they jump Moxley or jump Blackpool Combat Club or something.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Because they never were able to get a Tama Tonga guest appearance. This is the closest thing to with Gabe Kidd. But next up, we had Nick Nemeth, the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion, going up against Tomohiro Ishii. A big test for Nemeth in one of his first matches with NJPW. We got some basic grappling early on. Soon after, both guys turned to some strikes. Eventually, Ishii leveled Nemeth with a big forearm to establish control in the matchup. He cemented control by bringing him up to the top rope, hitting a huge superplex. He tried for a sleeper, but Nemeth reversed into an angle slam. A DDT, a satellite DDT, got a near fall for Nemeth. He tried for some strikes, but Ishii caught him, reversed into a big power bomb, but he wasn't able to follow up. Instead, Nemeth reverses and hits a huge Faymaster, which completely spiked Ishii on his damn head. And it was like they had to talk about how Ishii, yes, he does have a neck, ladies and gentlemen, so that did hurt. We get Ishii lands a huge lariat, but Nemeth comes back with a super kick for a near fall. Ishii hits the danger zone, the zigzag, then follows up with a lariat. Nemeth kicks out at 1, and that's when I really got into the match. I was like, oh, Nemeth showing some fighting spirit, some sauce out here. All right. Nemeth dropped Ishii with a super kick, but Ishii only kicked out at 1 himself. The pair began to trade big bombs in this one. We get a headbutt from Ishii that lands right on the jaw of Nemeth. He tries for a pin, but Nemeth kicks out again. Another back and forth exchange ends with Nemeth hitting the danger zone for the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory here. In my opinion, the best Nemeth match I've seen since he left WWE. This one I really enjoyed, really turned up when it shifted into the second and third gear. I give it 4 stars. What did you think?
Nah, man, it was definitely a solid match, bro. I feel like Nick Nemeth went out there and he proved his point, right? This is a point-proving match. He proved the point. To Vala B's point and what I said in the preview, this is going to be a sell-off in different styles, right? And they did the damn thing. They sold in their unique styles. And it was so much fun to see, as to what Simeon was saying as well. The exchanges between them were a lot of fun. The differentiation in styles made this match, and that's what wrestling is supposed to be when in its truest art form, right? And when there's no backstory, when there's no freaking 20-minute promo bits beforehand, this is wrestling at its purest in its art form, man. And it was very, very dope to see. We see less and less of Ishii every year because he is winding down his career. Nick Nemeth proven out in New Japan Pro Wrestling right now as the global heavyweight champion. So I don't know if he gets a match at Forbidden Door.
That's interesting. That would be interesting.
So we'll see how that goes. But definitely a terrific match between Ishii and Nick Nemeth, man. I didn't doubt Nick's ability to go ever. You're never going to doubt that. It's just whether or not the styles would mesh well, because it didn't seem like it went well all together with him and Finley. But surprisingly, him and Ishii worked better. So goes to show. At the end of the day.
Said a lot to me. That's what Jay News said. We got another super chat donation here from Will Chisholm. Thank you so much once again, Will, as always. He says, looking back on it, he thought he was putting Matt Riddle with Randy to help him out with the back, but it feels like Randy was keeping him all right. Yeah. It seems like Randy was the one that was kind of babysitting Matt Riddle towards the end of his run that's when all the stuff started spouting off, because he got over with the arcade bro thing. He got a little bit more camera time, and his lifestyle changed before our eyes with him leaving his wife and then starting doing other shit.
Yeah, big props to Randy for taking the role of doing that, because it was done for him, right, in his career. But at times, some guys are going to learn faster than others. I can't tell you as to what Matt Riddle's doing with his life right now. There's always speculation. There's rumor. You know what I'm saying? Conjecture out there in the world.
Rumor and innuendo.
What the Club Nouveau say? Vicious lies and dangerous rumors. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I've always been a big fan of Matt Riddle in the ring. I just don't necessarily know what's going to happen in his wrestling career, what's going to happen in his life at this point. So hopefully things straighten out for him, and things can get better down the road. As per Ishii and Nick Nemeth, I hope Nick Nemeth has the ride of his life with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I really, really do. I don't know who's next in line for Nick Nemeth, but we shall see if anyone else steps up to the plate. And for Tomohiro Ishii, I think seeing him in one-off matches is best for him at this point in his career throughout the year. So cool, terrific match to see. Yeah, man. Yeah. Windy City Riot so far, as per all the matches that we've talked about, has been a really, really good show. But let's keep going.
So I wanted to you. We got the Hiroshi Tanahashi has stepped up as kind of the next challenger for Nemeth. Do you think we get that at Dontaku? Yeah,
probably. That's the star making ground, right? It's Tana.
Yeah.
Right. So Tana's taking the time off to heal. Recoup.
That's all reason that this wasn't a global heavyweight championship match. He wants his first one to be against Tanahashi, his idol.
Yeah. So his idol. Man. Anyways,
that's what he said. That's what they said. I was like, man. When he became Dolph Ziggler, I was like, Tanahashi had only been in the business for like 8 years, right? No, he's been on top. He's been on top for 2 years.
For 2 years. Yeah, he's been on top for 2 years.
It was 2008 was when Dolph Ziggler debuted. But Nick Nemeth debuted. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. Dolph Ziggler. Nick Nemeth debuted in 2005.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, we'll see, man. If Tana still has some legs in this match coming up in Dontaku, I think you're right. I think that it'll come up there. It'll be for the betterment of Nick Nemeth's New Japan stint, right? I don't think I don't think Tana's going to put the belt on himself again. So we'll see how the match works out, and we'll see how the rest of the challengers for the global championship shakes out after the Tanahashi match. So hopefully good things, man. Hopefully good things. I'm with Simeon though. I think Nick Nemeth does need a round with the indelible, the incomparable Shingo Takagi. He needs a match with Shingo.
That's facts. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship matchup was the main event. Tetsuya Naito in his third defense, which is very, very important number, ladies and gentlemen, because Tetsuya Naito is not known for having multiple title defenses in his title reign. He usually makes it to V2 and he loses, or he makes it to V3 and he loses. He defeated Yota Tsuji at Sakura Genesis for his second successful defense after beating Sanada in a Wrestle Kingdom rematch. This is his third defense, and this felt like a big match. This had the big fight feel, as they say, right from the beginning, right before the introductions of both men coming down to the ring. And you just felt like the energy of the match, the energy of me feeling towards this matchup changed during the entrances, because I was like, yo, Moxley looks focused. Moxley looks ready. I had already seen on social media that Tony Khan was at Wintrust Arena for the show, and I was like, oh shit, Tony not coming for no loss. Naito started off the match with one of his usual standard openings, trying to get in Moxley's head. He took a while to take off his entrance gear. Then he wouldn't lock up with Moxley. Moxley responded by taking the fight to the floor. He drove Naito into the barricades, back into the ring. He had a power driver for a near fall. Moxley continued to make advances against Naito until Naito created separation, hit a big neck breaker. This marked the beginning of Naito working the neck, setting up his Destino finisher. It took a DDT to the apron for Moxley to regain control, and he completely spiked Naito on the apron. Naito was down for a little bit, but Moxley tried to follow up when he was up with a dive, but Naito pulled out a steel chair from under the ring and blasted Moxley in the head with it. Once Moxley emerged, his head was pouring with blood, as only Jon Moxley can. Moxley landed a big lariat to regain control, a back and forth strike exchange with Naito winning out. He locked in a deep sleeper hold, but Moxley applied a big sleeper hold, but Naito was able to escape the choke and attempted a Destino. Moxley reversed that, though, and landed a Death Rider for the first big near fall of the matchup. Before Moxley could follow up, Naito hit the running Destino for a near fall of his own. Naito tried for the arm ring Destino, but Moxley was able to escape. We got a short back and forth with reversals before Moxley hit another Death Rider for a close near fall once again. Both men would get up with one another, exchange a few strikes that ended when Moxley hit a big lariat. He then picks him up, hits the elevated Death Rider, a third of the matchup. 1, 2, 3. Shocking result, because Jon Moxley is your new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, becoming the first American since AJ Styles to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, the first Gaijin since Will Ospreay in 2021 to win the title, and he becomes the first man ever to win the WWE, AEW, and IWGP World Heavyweight Championships. After the matchup, Moxley, very emotional, bloody, pouring with blood with his new title. He thanked Chicago, talked about how it was in Chicago he won his first ever AEW World Championship all those years ago. And he called out, he said that he's faced a lot of Japanese legends over the years, but this title reign's going to be different because he's not scared of the young lions. And he said there's one young lion specifically he wants to call out here, and he calls out Shota Umino, his former protege. But before Shota Umino can respond to the challenge, it was Ren Narita, the rival of Shooter, who attacked Jon Moxley with his infamous push-up bar given to him by Katsuyori Shibata. Umino hit the ring to make the save after Narita made it clear that he said he will be the first challenger for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Umino helped Moxley up, but Moxley told Ren Narita that he will make the quickest transition from young lion to dead man. It's been made official with the reports that it's going to be Ren Narita and Jon Moxley for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Resurgence. But as far as this main event matchup, this was absolutely tremendous. This felt like a big fight matchup. I love the psychology and the in-ring story with Naito attacking the neck, Moxley just trying to hit big low, big move after big move, kept dropping Naito on his bad neck until it was too much after the third Death Rider that put him away. But this felt like, for the first time in a very long while, for the first time since Evil winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at the beginning of the pandemic, New Japan took a very significant risk, but I feel much better about this one than I did about the Evil one. But this is a long time between them taking this type of risk to putting on a gaijin like this.
Well, remember, let's correct ourselves here, because I was corrected many shows ago that Evil was never IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He was
IWGP Heavyweight Champion
and Intercontinental Champion. So it is what it is. But for all intents and purposes, the principle of the matter is taking the risk on who the champion is, making that decision, the booking decision there. I was surprised by the decision overall. I had Naito winning this match just for the sake of, he finally got the roll call. I finally thought this was going to be his long reign, so he can go out on his shield and say that he was able to best Okada at some point in his career. This is that nature. But to no avail, right? To no avail at this point. But to your point that you made much earlier in the show, he's always been best at the chase, bro. He's always been best at the chase. And we got a terrific match out of him and Mox, man. Mox has been bringing it for forever and a day, to quote a man. And much props to Mox for carrying AEW on his back when he did during the pandemic era. Much props to Mox when he took that IWGP US belt when he did, and doing what he did with it when here in America when he couldn't go to Japan. Stuff like that. So props to Mox for doing that. And props to Mox for keeping that Shield champion hiatus to a short
5 days. 5 days the Shield went without championship. Man, the Shield, it's crazy that every year I talk about how the Shield is just increasing their legacy with the runs that all three of these guys have been on since they broke up.
They are. I just want to, for the life of me, and I know it'll probably never happen until they all go into the Hall of Fame someday, but I feel like there should be a triple threat somewhere in that lineage between the three of them.
They do have a triple
threat. I know, but like them at their respective peaks. You know what I'm saying? Which is now.
But you're not going to get that.
I know.
It's fine.
I can dream.
Roman ain't never leaving. Like I think Seth should leave since he always wants to be the number one guy. I think the only way he'll be the number one guy is if he leaves WWE.
I have a hard time seeing Seth leaving, to be honest. If I'm being completely honest,
I do too. He's too much of a homer.
Yeah. But yeah, man, Mox being the global Grand Slam champion, bro. Who would have thought that? To be quite honest, before it used to be being the Triple Crown champion was the most exalted thing you can do outside of the WWE. And, him being champion, the top guy in all three of these companies in the last 5 years is like 5 to 7 years, should I say. But it's been an incredible run for him, to say the least. This Red Narita match, I'm expecting
to answer this question, Big Man Dogs. I know you're trying to be funny, like, Mox going back to WWE is the only way you'll get it. He ain't going back anytime soon because he re-signed with AEW last year, and he didn't just sign a wrestler contract. He signed a consulting contract. Yeah. He's like part of like the management team now.
He's in the same vein as Brian.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're doing the work.
They're pretty much like both. I think both of them, unless something catastrophic happens, like a CM Punk coming to the company, back to the company or something. I don't see Moxley and Brian leaving until they're retired.
Exactly. So I expect big things from Ren Narita come his match at Resurgence. I'm not saying he's going to win this match at all because I don't expect him to win this match. I just need him to separate himself from all this House of Torture nonsense. He's going to continue to be a House of Torture member. I get all that. I'm just saying from a match productivity standpoint, I need him to stand out. There's just no way around it here. This is what Mox being champion is about. At the end of the day, the elevation of these guys, he's got to work towards, because it takes two to tango. Mox is going to do his best to elevate Narita. Narita's got to do his part to elevate himself. That's what I'm waiting for come Resurgence. If it doesn't happen, then we know what the problem is at the end of the day. So that's all I have to say about that in particular. I've already said my piece about Shooter. But let's go back to the comments in chat.
Alex Axon, I wonder what the Dontaku match is going to be with Moxley as champion. He's not having a match at Dontaku.
I heard
I don't think he's having a championship match at Dontaku. I think he'll probably be maybe like Evil and Ren versus Shooter and Mox to set up Resurgence.
When's Dontaku?
Dontaku's the week before Resurgence.
The week, yeah. So you're probably right. They're probably they just had.
I would think that they would have set that up though. Like they set these things up. Like Moxley was set up for Naito at Windy City Riot back at Battle in the Valley. Mm-hmm. Then they do the New Japan Cup to set up the Sakura Genesis title match, and that's why he had back-to-back title matches. There was no setup for anyone else outside of Ren, unless they're doing the Shooter match before the Ren, because that's the two matches that he set up.
They won't do the Shooter match before Ren's, but he's going to be on Dynamite on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, if you have somebody, but who?
Yeah. Who? I don't know. But I don't know. Speaking of who, shout out to Big E, putting out the news that he did today. So I'm just glad the man's healthy. Just glad the man's moving. Just glad that he's in a good state. I just wanted to bring that up just because at the end of the day, he's probably one of the better people in the wrestling industry that which is kind of like a universal thing that's agreed upon. So we got our moment with Big E. So I just wanted to make sure to mention that, and that, you know, he's in a good place. He's healthy. He's happy. So him not being back in the ring shouldn't necessarily be too much of a crutch for wrestling fans at the end of the day. Just be glad that he's in a good spot.
Yeah, and I 100% would agree with Alex. Like, I think, like, we talked about
it makes sense.
Like the 5 years, the 5 year thing. That's like, this is the show where it's 5 years from Shooter's big matchup that really changed his career. He was just a young lion, and then he became Jon Moxley's young lion, right, like in that one matchup 5 years ago at Dominion. It just makes too much sense that his final test, as Moxley said after the matchup, would be 5 years at Dominion.
Yeah, I mean, it makes, like I said, it makes the most sense. My hope is that they don't have to turn Shooter for all intents and purposes. That's my hope. So yeah, that's the only thing that would stick out in my mind about that. But yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully it does go down in Dominion, and if not, then they would have to drive the story home some way for him to get it done at Wrestle Kingdom. So,
well, no, I think they do the matchup at Dominion, but he's not going to win. He's not going to win.
He loses.
Yeah.
Is Dominion before G1?
Yeah.
Okay, so he loses.
Dominion's 3 weeks before Forbidden Door as well. So I would think that Moxley gets the win to set up a big Forbidden Door matchup in the post match. He does. You'll have someone from AEW send a video or come out, make the challenge for Moxley for Forbidden Door. He does that, and then he I don't know. Could we get Moxley back in the G1? I would love that. I would love Mox back in the G1.
He is champion. That has there is precedent for that for the last several years that the champion participates in the G1. So maybe.
Yeah, that's what I would really want. Yeah. I would really want Mox to work the G1. If he works the G1, he don't even have to make a title defense after the G1. Honestly, he did enough. He did way more than we all thought if he does the whole G1. After the schedule that he's going to be doing in the early part of the summer and late spring. So, but let us know. Final call for super chat donations. Final call for comments, and let us know in the chat your match of the night, MVP, LVP, out of 10. What did you give the show? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Frantic World saying the real question is, will Okada be on Forbidden Door 3 if Jay White's booking of last year is any indication? No. Nope. Nope. He won't be there. Or he'll burn someone from CMLL.
Okay.
MCAT saying, I think Claudio is working G1 this year. I wouldn't mind that.
No, mind that at all. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I wouldn't mind that at all. But yes, let's put our thumbs in the middle. J News for NJPW Windy City Riot 2024. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. J News, out of 10, what did you give the show?
Solid 8. A solid 8. The reason that's why I say 8, not like a 9 or whatever the case is. We're always gonna, for whatever reason, we're always gonna have some freaking streaming problems. So that is what that is. But it is the first time, from a set standpoint, that everything was well lit around the ring area. It wasn't completely dark. So I'll mention that. But from a match standpoint, I think everything went according to plan. The match between Ali and Hiromu could have been better, but I feel like they had to call the audible at the end of the match, so that took a little bit away from everything there. The Riot Rules match wasn't what I was expecting it to be necessarily from a violence perspective, but it got to the story beat, which is where we're at now. And like I said, the ladies killed it, man. That was my biggest takeaway from the night. And you know, we'll talk about our LVPs and our MVPs in a minute. But yeah, solid 8 for me.
I'm going to go 8.5 out of 10. And I actually disagree with Alex Powell respectfully here. He says 8 out of 10, but not as good as the January show with Ospreay versus Okada and Mox versus Shingo. I think that Battle in the Valley had the stronger close to the show with those two matches and Gabe Kidd and Eddie Kingston. But I will give anybody $5 if they can remember 2 matches outside of that from Battle in the Valley. You're not, because this was a better overall show. Yeah. I'm going to remember Vicaire versus Azumi. I'm going to remember ZSJ versus Riddle. I'm going to remember Nemeth versus Ishii. I'm definitely going to remember Jack Perry and Shota Umino. And I'm definitely going to remember Jon Moxley defeating Tetsuya Naito at Windy City Riot. I'm just going to remember those final 2 matches from Windy City Riot. That's why I would say I gave both shows an 8.5. I think this is the strongest show. And I think this is the best show New Japan has done since Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. No complaints from me.
Your match of the night, J News.
Match of the night for me, the main event main evented at the end of the day. Mox versus Naito. Second runner up to me was Stephanie Vicaire versus Azumi, because those girls killed it for me at the end of the day in that particular regard. From a match standpoint, just the quality of it in the short amount of time that they got. But yeah, the Mox versus Naito match of the night.
Probably my runner-up would be Perry and Shooter. That was probably my second.
Star making.
Both guys look like stars coming out of it, and the program overall worked because both guys come out of it looking stronger, looking better than they did going in. But match of the night, yeah, definitely Moxley and Naito. It was just big fight field, delivered on everything, bloody, emotional, everything you would want from a big time main event. J News, your MVP for the show.
2 shows in a row for the scapegoat. At the end of the day, listen, man, there's just no way around how much of a star he is starting to become, because he's just feeding into everything. So props to Jack Perry, turning a bad situation and making it and benefiting from it.
Honestly, we might look back on in like a couple of years of saying the best thing that Jack Perry did for his career was say broken real glass, Crimea River, because he was I'm sorry, he was dead as a heel. He just started. His heel turn just started, but he showed no charisma in his first promo. The character and the feud with Hook did not get over. But that one line and CM Punk leaking that story, because that's how it all starts. We had people in the comments yesterday being like, oh, y'all not mentioning that Jack said, cry me a river real glad. No, that's not how that started. It doesn't start with him saying that. It starts with Punk letting the story be out there because Punk was getting bad PR. or it starts with Jack complaining about not being able to use Yuka. It's one or the other. It does not start with him saying the words, but that words may look back on as the best decision of his career because now he's an interesting heel.
Yeah. He's interesting for sure, man. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from not only this show, but everything that's happened this week, footage and everything else in between. Folks, it's like I'm saying before, professional wrestling still professional wrestling. I feel like we're being worked right now, and no one understands that we're being worked at the end of the day. So, that's all I'm saying to y'all, man. Like, there's a perspective about being a wrestling fan where take the emotion out of it, right? And just see it for what it is. Wrestling's supposed to be fun. And if it's not fun, if they can't do the I got you. If professional wrestling still can't do that, then there's no sense for professional wrestling to still be around. And that's just my particular perspective on everything that's going on right now. So that's where I'm at.
My MVP, my co-MVP is Jack Perry and Jon Moxley. Jack Perry feels like a big star coming out of this show, and Jon Moxley making history. Got to show him some love. Your MVP.
Huh?
Your MVP?
No, my MVP was Jack.
Oh, yeah, Jack. LVP for the show. I'm going to go.
It's tough, bro, for this show.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Matt Riddle.
Rough. I understand.
He was in a great match. He was in a great match, but if that's how his NJPW run ends,
it leaves a sour taste. I'm not going to disagree with that. Yeah, I'm still going to continue to ride my New Japan strong wave, brother. LVP of the show. This ain't nothing new to nobody in the chat who's ever seen Jay News on True Hill Heat. But if you're new to True Hill Heat with Jay News reviewing New Japan Strong, I have a hatred for Team Filthy. Team Filthy! Every single one of those members, disbanded or not. Tom Lawler included, Jarrell Nelson, and that guy, Royce Isaacs. Those guys, my LVPs, because they all lost at the end of the day. So why not?
Couldn't even give it to Lawler for losing and then losing his friends and then getting his haircut. He would obviously be the LVP.
No sympathy. No sympathy for any of them. They all deserve the losses. They all deserve the crap and the disgusting things that happened to them. The eating of the hair, the cutting of the hair. Tom Lawler being the sole reason that Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs aren't the New Japan Strong Tag Team Champions because he was the one who made the save in that match. LVPs. Team Filthy.
MCATS is not going to stand. You're losing MCATS as a viewer with your Tom Lawler slander. But to answer MCATS from earlier, he says, any Collision review this week? We have a Collision review dropping tomorrow. We got you. Don't worry. We're going to talk all about Collision with that great main event with Blackpool Combat Club and Don Callis family, as well as Roderick Strong turning on Kyle O'Reilly. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, bro. I couldn't believe it. But I saw it. I was like, what? Why?
I was like, oh, well, let's speed up this story. All right, cool. I was like, oh, we got it for Dynasty. All right, cool. I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. I was like, I did not need the long drawn out with this. I was like, thank you. Exactly
it was interesting to see the clip, and I was like, did he hit the jumping knee? I was like, no, not Kyle. I
was like, poor Kyle, not right to his neck. Jay News, thank you as always for joining me. I believe when's the next time that we got to talk again? Well, we got to talk again for Wrestling Dontaku coming up at the beginning of May. We also got to talk for Resurgence. So you'll either be with us for the review or preview, maybe even both. We'll figure it out, but let the people know where they can follow you until then.
You can always catch me Monday mornings, me and the lovely Dolores on the Workhorse Wrestling Network, talking all things indie wrestling and New Japan and Japanese wrestling. Okay. You can also catch me on the Twitter machine at JohnLYFNMG, your friendly neighborhood moviegoer, as I do my best to review the movies that I watch in theaters. I write them up now, folks. I do op-ed pieces and don't do the podcast. I'm not doing the podcast right now. Try to eventually get back to it so you can see my movie reviews. I also post up lesser known trailers of movies that are coming out this year as well. So follow me on the Twitter machine for that. And I also make sure to post some fun Japanese wrestling stuff. And of course, you always see me linked to all the True Heel Heat stuff on the Twitter machine and on Instagram as well. So that is where you can catch me.
Go over, follow Jay News. He's always got some good stuff to talk about, whether it be with the movies, whether it be with New Japan Pro Wrestling. You could follow me, at True Heel SP3. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Heel Heat. Patreon.com/True Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content, including we have Review of Honor up on there right now. We also got a new Hardcore Rewind where Chris G watches ECW Hardcore TV, so you can go over and check that out. We got the True Heel Heat Prediction Championship, which is coming back very soon. And go over to True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment. We'll be going live in less than an hour at 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time with our X-Men 97 episode 4 and 5 review. Yes, we're going to be discussing the Motendo Life Death Part 1 episode, as well as this week's highly talked about, highly praised, and some people have still not recovered from Remember It. So we'll be talking about it and giving therapy to everyone who is still not recovered, because a lot of us are not okay.
From episode 5, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't watched the lick as of yet. I just watched the tail end. Somebody put the clip up on freaking Twitter. I have to get around to watching the show.
Not everybody's okay, but we're gonna be okay when we talk about it in less than an hour. So join me, Josh, and Ness over on True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment for that. But me and Jay News will be back with you at the beginning of May for more New Japan content. So for Jay News, for Sonal, we hope you're feeling better if you're watching out there. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. This has been our NJPW Windy City Riot 2024 review. We are signing off until next time.